'Cause my love came crashing down. I don't know if it ever will get back up again. I need someone to talk to. I'll say what I'm going through. Tired of complications,
Hello, my name is Emilymai Esther Dunbar. I'm the founder of Mending Hearts Life Coaching. Dear Emily, the whole purpose of it is to just have a space where people can share their stories, about life, dating, courting, divorce, marriage, friendship, betrayal, love, mental health, you name it.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, or couples make, when it comes out to managing finances is they don't actually manage it.
Girls out there want to kiss me. Because if you call me kissing actor, then you're setting me up.
We as women, I just said it was a myth that we could be all things to everybody, do everything well. So the only person that we can change, really, is us.
When someone cannot conceive their own dreams, why do we expect them to be able to see ours?
It all boils back down to you have to take care of yourself. You know, you have to take care of yourself. You have to prioritize yourself, prioritize your mental health. If not, it's going to show up when you go to work. It's going to show up when you come home to your children. It's going to show up even when you're in the community, like just your energy. People can feel all that.
And one of the things, something that you also share that I tell people all the time is, you know, just because you're married doesn't mean that your marriage is healthy. Because there are literally people who are just coexisting for the sake of their families.
What is your definition of a good man? I always say this. We've heard a lot of young ladies often say, well, I'm waiting on my Boaz. I'm waiting on my Boaz. But I asked them, you waiting on your Boaz, or are you Ruth material?
When you put things in your own handwriting, it becomes personal then. Because just like our fingerprints and all this other stuff that's ours, even twins, they still have different fingerprints. Yeah. You know, so when you write it down and journal those things, that gives you a sense of responsibility to do something about it.
Sometimes I don't feel like you can put a time on like when you need self-care. You know, you might be depleted by noon. Sometimes you might be depleted by 9 o'clock, you know what I mean? So just listen to your body and your spirit and whatever it requires.
US or even around the world. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Okay, as you all know, Dear Emily is a platform where we discuss educational and informative topics. We talk about, last week we had a conversation about marriage and finances, and we had amazing guests with us, a married couple. By the way, we had Mr. Michael Franks and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Rhonda Franks, who joined us, and we had such an amazing time. So for those of you that watched or you were unable to, make sure you catch the previous episode on Keg Media, okay? Just scroll down, you'll be able to access that. Once more, our topic today is on divorce and the church, the journey of forgiveness and healing. a lot of us, this is one sensitive topic that most people, if you identify as a Christian or just in general, something that we don't really talk about in our home, something that it's really frowned upon, especially if you're in the Christian faith, okay? So, but today we have a guest who is so courageous, was able to accept to have this conversation. She's going to be sharing her own story. But before I even get into all of that, I want you all, once more, share this video, and let me know you're watching, where you're watching from. We have a lot of people who watch us from Liberia, from around the world. So thank you so much once again for always following, for watching. Before we introduce our guests, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we take this break, we'll introduce our wonderful, beautiful guest. And then we'll get into the topic for tonight, divorce and the church. Once again, please keep following us on Keg Media. If you haven't liked the page, you haven't shared, make sure that you're liking, you're sharing. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Benda Boutique and 4 Girls Fashion and Beauty. Thank you so much for sponsoring Dear Emily. And those of you that continuously watch this show, that you're sharing this, thank you all. And we will be right back after the break. Thank you.
In today's digital world, your website is your virtual storefront. Don't let an outdated website hold you back from success. Introducing our website template collection, the solution to your online presence woes. With our diverse range of professionally designed website templates, you'll find the perfect match for your business. Our templates are easy to customize, allowing you to showcase your brand with just a few clicks. Rest assured, your website will look stunning and work perfectly on any device. Take control of your website with our user-friendly content management system. Join the growing list of businesses that have transformed their online presence with our website templates. Visit our website today and unlock the potential of your online business.
Welcome back, everyone, to Dear Emily Season 2, Episode 8. Thank you all for joining us this evening, wherever you're watching. It could be evening, it could be nighttime. Thank you once again for watching Dear Emily. Today's topic, we are talking about divorce and the church, the journey of healing and forgiveness. Divorce is such a sensitive topic that most people don't talk about. And there's a reason for that. And I'm just so glad that we have on a guest who have decided to be transparent about her story, who is going to be sharing with us her journey towards healing and forgiveness. Okay, so I want you all to please, okay, before we even introduce our guest, understand that I want you to post in the comment, as a matter of fact, post in the comment, let me know, what are your thoughts of divorce? Maybe you have experienced divorce. Maybe you're from a household that went through divorce, okay? I'll share with you, I'm from a household that went through divorce. My parents got a divorce when I was young. I wasn't really in my teenage years. I believe I was around 14. Maybe I was teen, around 11 or something like that, 12 or 13. My parents got a divorce. I know what it did to my family. I know what it did to the children, how it can affect the children, how divorce can affect a household. So today we're going to be talking about divorce and how it affects families, but in particular with a lady who have decided, like I stated earlier, to share her journey with us about forgiveness and healing. Now, if you're from the Christian background, I don't want to assume everyone is a believer, but if you're from a Christian background, some of you probably have heard the term that God hates divorce. So no matter what you do, you stay in it, you pray your way out of it, and things like that. So I want you to post in the comment, for those of you, what are some things you've heard about divorce? Maybe you have been through divorce. What are your thoughts on divorce? What do you think about divorce in the church? Why is there such a big controversy when it comes to this particular topic? I want you to post it in the comment. I'm going to be giving out shout outs for those of you that are watching and that will be commenting, okay? I see LD is watching. Shout out to you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being on. Make sure you're sharing this video and share your thoughts. What are your take on divorce? Tell me. Let me know. Tell us, share with the viewers what your take is on divorce and how do you think people should respond to divorce when it comes to this conversation. If you didn't know, divorce in the church, for instance, is one of the highest. We have one of the highest percentage. It was about 60% a few years ago. I don't know exactly what it is now, but a few years ago, it was around 60% of Christians were getting divorced. It could be higher or that could have dropped. But divorce affects everyone. It affects every household. So without me talking too much, I know a lot of you are like, Emily, we hear you all the time. We love your guests. We want to see them. We want them to introduce themselves. I am going to give that chance. I want us to welcome our guest for this evening, a woman that I admire, a woman of strength and great courage. Like I said, it takes a lot for someone to talk about this topic. And I literally begged her. I begged her to come on the show. And she finally said yes. And I didn't even hesitate. I just locked her in right away. So Johnetta Farmah is our guest for this evening. Welcome. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward for this conversation because it's something that we really don't talk about a lot. Just because of the stigma that is associated with divorce in the church. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad I'm on today.
You're welcome. And you look beautiful. You could be relaxed. Don't be nervous.
Well, divorce at the church is a nerve-wracking topic. So.
It really is, especially the stigma behind it, right?
Right.
Why don't you, before we get into such a sensitive conversation, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the viewers who Johnetta is, what does she do, what do we want? Tell us what you want us to know.
Well, there's not much to know. My name is Johnetta Farmah. I'm a mom of two, a boy and a girl. I'm a believer. I love my Lord because, hey, who else there to love than him, right?
Period.
I love my kids and I'm just striving to be the best person that I can be. Other things will come later, but for now, I'm just focused on my kids, raising them up in the best home that I can, that I can offer to them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for that introduction. Johnetta, you're welcome to give your kids a shout out on this show.
Oh, yeah, she's right there. One is there. The last one is there.
She's here with you.
Yes.
And then the other one, give him a shout out.
Eric, wherever you are, hi to you. I hope you're watching. I will send you the link so you can watch your mommy on TV.
Shout out to you, Eric, and her baby girl Bella she's a special guest with us too. So thank you, Johnetta, for coming on. Okay. When it comes to this topic of divorce, I know that's something that it took you a while for you to even be able to share your story, to share your journey. On this platform. So I want to say thank you for being courageous. Thank you for the strength for being on here.
Took a lot of guts. I'm sweating right now.
Don't sweat. Don't sweat. You haven't even started yet.
I'm sweating right now. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Like I said, we really don't have enough opportunity for people to go out there and state what they're supposed to state. They're so afraid how people will look at them, how they will be labored. So to have a platform like this that gives people the opportunity without big names added to them to just come out and be able to speak on something like this is a blessing as well. So thanks to all the hardworking people that are on here making this possible.
Yeah, shout out to Keg Media producer, the engineers. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be on, right? So shout out to Keg Media and the boss, Mr. George W. Wallace III. Shout out to him. So on the line of divorce, as we're talking about a journey of healing and forgiveness, why do you think that is? Why do you think this topic is something that we don't talk about, that people don't talk about much in the church or just in general?
Right. Like I said earlier, this divorce from back in the days, our forefathers or whatever, divorce has a negative connotation to it. And then being in the church, even add another layer to it. that a lot of people shy away from because they don't want to be called a name such as maybe the person was useless, or they didn't fight hard for the marriage, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. It goes for both men and women, but I think women especially gets it harder, that they wasn't responsible. They were too young to get married. Why did they go into marriage when they know they wasn't ready for marriage and all of those stuff? And nobody wants to be called names in the process of having pain, right? So it's easier to just hide the pain and just act like nothing is going on. But that is the destructive part of everything, that you are hurting on the inside and there is no room and no space for you to even come up to say, I'm hurting, or this is what is going on, because you're afraid to be blamed and to be labeled names that you don't want to be labeled. So a lot of people just keep it in and just go with the flow. But it's not good. It's not good. I believe we should have the opportunity, whether it was my fault or not my fault, I should have the opportunity to say something, or for people to hear me out. What went wrong in my marriage? What happened? Why did it end? But a lot of time we don't have that opportunity, so people just keep quiet.
You know, thank you for sharing that. I've never been divorced.
Right.
I've never been divorced.
And you would never be.
And praise Lord, I'll never be divorced. But my parents got a divorce when I was younger, right? And I know how that affected us as kids. We were not too young. I think I was around 12 or 13, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember my mom telling us that, hey, your father and I, we're not going to work out anymore, and things like that. And I was angry. As a child, I was like, I'm a daddy's girl. I grew up as a daddy's girl, and things like that. So that really hurt us. My brothers, not so much. They go along with the flow. They're mama's boys and stuff like that. But for us, it was hard. And I can't imagine what my mom was going through. You know, it's so easy for people who are on the outside looking in to judge, right? To point fingers. And for us as kids, I would say we were maybe even on the outside, right? Not really fully understanding why, they made this decision. It was a decision that the both of them came together and said, you know what? We love each other. We love 3 beautiful children came out of this. We just can't be together. You know what I'm saying? And that was tough for us. And people did throw shade. Now you call it shade nowadays, but they throw fingers and pointed fingers at my mom. They called her, names. How dare her, walk out of her marriage? She had 3 kids. Who's going to marry her? Even on her wedding day, I hope those people are watching. Even on her, even on her wedding day, they were still gossiping about her. Why would any man want to be with her? She already have this amount of children. She has a lot of baggage and things like that. And these are Christians. Matter of fact, they're pastors' wives who were the ones who were discussing her. And they stood in her wedding. They stood in her wedding. The maid of, I really hope this lady is watching. The maid of honor stood in the wedding and was gossiping about this woman. Why would she move on? She should just take care of her kids. She should have never gotten a divorce, and no one even knew the story behind it. Almost like what you're saying. People don't know what's going on, right? But it's so easy for us to get to that place to judge. So, Johnetta, how did the church impact you when you were going through that journey?
Oh man, the church. And we are the church, just to make that clear. It's not the building that you go to. But like you said, the church is one of the hardest on those that are going through divorce, because they expect you to act like nothing happened, or put up this strong front that, okay, I got God on my side, so I can hurt, I don't have pain, because he's there, he's going to take it away. And though all of those things are true, but then they are not true just yet. And when I was going through my process, just a little drop back of my story, not to go into too much, but the church I was in at that time, my ex-husband was the one that brought me there. And then he left. After divorce, he left, and he left me there. So imagine me coming to a church that my husband brought me to, and now he's gone. But I have to stay there because if I decide to leave, the saying would be that, oh, because she came because of the man, or he's gone and she really doesn't love the Lord and stuff like that. So when I was going through that process, there was no room for me to say, hey, I need to take a step back, I need help, because everybody expected me to be okay. That was what was out there. I'm supposed to be okay. I was expected to go to rehearsal. I was expected to be in every training, every service, and everything. And when I would take a day off, it would become a problem. Or if I just didn't feel like it because I'm not feeling. Imagine you staying to a place that your ex-husband took you. Every time you walk in, you don't even need the voices to talk. You know that people are saying stuff. What is she doing here? Can she leave? Is this the owner church? Stuff, stuff like that. And so I rather never had anybody just sit with me and say, hey, how are you doing today? How are you taking the divorce? Is there anything I can do? There's no room for counseling. There's no room for talking in the church. And with that, I carry a lot of hurt, bitterness, anger, hatred, you name everything. It was there, and I was going to church. So it's like I was deceiving myself, because with all of these in me, I can really serve the Lord the way I'm ought to serve the Lord. But I was invisible to the eyes of people. My pain wasn't seen, or it was seen and be ignored. So I would get up. I will be there. There are times I will be months of dark depression. That I'm literally a shadow of myself. But I felt like nobody cared enough to ask me, hey, this has happened. What are you going to do? Is there anything we can do for you? Do you need us to recommend somebody for you to talk to? There was nothing. So I had to fight my way through the pain and the hurt and everything. And when too much pain, when you're carrying too much pain, there will be times you would just explode, And when I would do that, I was told that it was because of my anger that my marriage ended, that it was my fault. I'm a woman, I'm not supposed to have this much anger, but you don't know the reason why I'm angry. You haven't asked me what's going on with you. Why are you so angry? So in that part, I felt like the church, other people that I was around, they failed me in that part. And I was left to struggle on my own. I was left to wander in the darkness, trying to find my way, trying to find myself. Where do I go with a 1 year, 6 months old child? And all that was expected from me was to go to church and serve and just move on. But yeah, I don't think there's enough room for people that are going through divorce in the church. There isn't any room, in fact. Not enough, because when you say enough, then I mean there's some. But from my experience and what I've heard other people saying, there's not a room. You just have to pick up your cross and go. And God himself is interested in us talking. He said, come and let us reason together. Why would he say something like that if he just wants you to just get up and just move on and nobody listens to you? But he wants to listen to you. He wants you to talk. So then what more about a mortal man? Why can I talk? Why can I say I'm hurting? Why can I say I'm angry? Why can I say I'm full of hate or bitterness towards this person that have caused me so much pain? It becomes it's sin, or I'm not serving the right way. God doesn't, this is not how you serve God, because those were all words that I heard daily every time that I will go into this thing, and if something comes out, those were words that I heard. But yeah, that's just a little bit of my struggles when I was going through that time in the church.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for being vulnerable, because like you said, this is something we don't talk about.
No.
We don't talk about it, and I'm yet to, and maybe other churches, they have recovering or divorce ministry or something like that. But I think part of the stigma that people have is you're encouraging or you're endorsing divorce if you talk about it or you sympathize or empathize with the divorcees, you know. And I witnessed my mom going through that. I witnessed she didn't have people around her to even ask her, hey, how are you doing? You know, I think her children were her pillars, you know, and we literally had to encourage my mom to say, hey, your happiness is way more important because we're going to get older. And you're going to stay here, you know, and it's either you're by yourself, you're happy, or, you know, you're doing something else. But my parents knew it wasn't going to work. And there came a time where my dad admitted that, hey, it was my fault, you know, that things didn't work. Not that your mom was not a good person, you know, I just wasn't ready, you know, and I think I got married too young, and that was really pleasing to hear because it's, you want, as a child, now I'm speaking from a child perspective who was affected by that. As a child, you're wondering, like, what went wrong? Like, family is supposed to be perfect because that's what the church preach, right? The church talks about the family unit and how important it is, and it is important. It is important when it is healthy. When it is healthy, it is important because you want your kids to be brought up in healthy homes. In healthy homes, there's so many people who are dying. I've read stories, I've seen on the news. We had a major gospel artist who's Nigerian, Osinachi, blessed memory, who passed away, and no one knew she was going through abuse. No one knew she was going through abuse in her marriage. And according to some sources, now I can't verify because I wasn't there, they said that she informed her pastor about it. Right, that the pastor knew. Some people said the pastor didn't know that she was being abused, and some people would say that even her husband was a pastor, he was a leader in the church, in some type of church and stuff like that. But this woman was going through abuse. How did people not see the signs? How did people not like notice something was off? Why did people not even stop to say, hey, how are you? Some people would say it is well. We get that all the time. It is well, I'm fine. But you have somebody, tears streaming down their face, and they're telling you it is well, when you know very well that it is not. And I tell people, it doesn't hurt to just ask somebody how they're doing. It's the least you can do. And you would be surprised at the response that they're going to give. They might just say, you know what, I'm not doing well. Everyone needs an outlet. That's why you have therapists, you have coaches, you have counselors, because you need somebody to talk to. Right? And in this case, a lot of people who are going through divorce or have been divorced, they don't have that space in the church sometimes. I was in a Bible study at one point in time when I was younger, and this lady was explaining her story. And this pastor, he said, well, what are you doing wrong? This woman just told you my husband slapped me, or he beats me. And instead of you like counseling this person or being there to talk to them, or maybe call the both of them and have a conversation, you're asking her what she did wrong, like she was the problem, and because she was the problem, it's justifiable for the hit. The abuse was justifiable. I've heard countless of stories and people who have explained, who are going through the same very thing that you talked about. They're a shadow to people in the church. No, everyone wants you to show up to church. They're expecting you to be happy. They're expecting you to do your job, to fulfill your role as a Christian. No one wants to know how you're doing most of the time. And I can't imagine what you had to go through, knowing that your husband at the time was the one who brought you to the church.
I'm grateful for him taking me to church, because it was that I found myself. But yeah, you can imagine, like, and not only the church, but the entire church was his family, right? And I felt like a stranger for the longest time. You know, my pastor then and his wife, they're amazing people. But I felt alone 90% of the time. The best I could do for myself was to cry cried my eyes out. And then my sister of blessed memory, at least I had her on my side, so she will.
It's okay.
Whew.
Should we take a quick break? Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Dear Emily Season 2, Episode 8. We're talking about divorce and the church, a journey of healing and forgiveness. To all of our sponsors, Keg Solutions, Keg Media, Benda Boutique, For Girls Fashion and Beauty. Thank you so much for sponsoring. We will be right back after this break. Thank you for watching. Emily Season 2, Episode 8. This is a emotional conversation. It's a very sensitive topic, as we've been stating. Most people don't talk about it, and our topic today is divorce in the church. So I want you to post a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are so far in this conversation. I'm going to read out some of the comments and give some shout outs to people. Before we get back to our guest, for this evening, let me read out some of the comments and give you all some shout outs, okay? Johnetta, by the way, you're doing well. You're doing well. And so thank you for sharing. So we have Parissa, who's watching. She said, my boo-boo is well and pretty as always. Glory to God. Love you, sister. Eva Olua says, yay, sis J. Parissa said, my two most beautiful ladies in the studio, y'all. Oh, thank you, Parissa. LB says, you're doing great so far, Johnetta. He spelled your name wrong, but at least he said you're doing great so far. So that's really good. Michael Franks, Mr. Franks says, this is a great topic. No one wants to talk about this. People are embarrassed and don't want to deal with repercussions. People can be so cruel. We're watching Michael and Rhonda Franks. Thank you so much. They were our guests last week. So thank you so much to the Franks. And then he says, church folks are the worst. LD says they sure are. He's in agreement. Mr. Frank says, we can definitely relate to your story. It's not your fault if the church can't deal with situations and challenges that their people face. Yes, the church will fill you. And then Bella, thank you for watching, says, great topic. Eva Olua says, I can relate to your story, sis J. May God bless you for sharing such a pivotal moment in your life. So there are people cheering you on. Thank you for sharing. Michael Frank says, Mr. Frank says, you have to have discernment and compassion to be a true man of God. Or church leader. If you don't have social awareness or a psychological background or a psychology background, it's hard to be able to deal with church issues from the people. I agree. He also says, I know, my sister, it's okay. You don't have to cry anymore. You are victorious and a conqueror. You have been delivered, and you can definitely move on past any situation. Thank you. Joel B. is watching all the way from Bismarck, North Dakota. Thank you for watching. He says, greetings to pretty ladies in the studio. Greetings to you as well. Tila Diva says she's doing fabulous. Tila Diva was a guest on here, and she talked about sex. We have the highest rating on here, okay? We were talking about sex. She was all in. So shout out to you, T, a.k.a. Terry, and also one of Dear Emily's sponsors. She says you're doing great. Anawa says, stay strong. Thank you for watching. She says, stay strong, my friend. You're not alone. And George W. Wallace III says, Ebenezer is not a good church for marriages. Thank you.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, y'all. So far, those are the comments. Keep them coming, please. Keep them coming. We love the comments, and we've been reading. So, Johnetta, this tells you that a lot of people can relate to your story, that you're not alone. So, there's a lot of church hurt. There's a lot of relationship hurt. Someone says, Dr. Miles Monroe, blessed memory, says, divorce is like death, except you still have to keep living.
Right.
You have to relive every single day. Divorce is like death. So it's like you're dying, and I can't imagine what you had to. You die every day.
Oh, yeah.
And how long has it been? How long has that been?
6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. This year be 6 years since that happened. And it's just one day at a time, by the grace of God, that you are able to move past certain things, but not everything. So, and that's where I come to the place to say that telling someone, pray, keep praying, just keep praying, it'll get better, it's not enough. You have to, what if I don't know how to pray? Or what kind of prayer I'm supposed to be praying? And you keep telling me, just pray, just pray, just pray, just pray. Without offering me anything else. And you just telling me, pray, just pray. You will get past this, you will get past. Yes, prayer is the key. Prayer answer things. But like everything there is two sides to everything, right? And this is where we make the mistake in the church, that we say pray, but then don't give you any tools. And both, you have to have both. You have to have the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect. So yes, you are praying, but how do you see fulfillment of what you are praying for? You have to activate that by your physical action. So if it is just talking to somebody, will activate the spiritual part that you have prayed for. But most of the time we say pray, I'm on my knees, I'm praying. The hurt is still there. The pain is still there. I get to see this man, or I get to see this woman. Can you teach me? How do I have conversation with this person, right? When I see them the next time, that I don't go off on them. Or how do I put this pain and this anger under control? There is nothing out there when it comes to the church but pray. Yes, there are things prayer would do. But prayer cannot take you from the place of hurt and say, yeah, you need to talk to this person, or go seek help through a therapist or something. There should be resources in the church that you can refer me to as you're telling me to pray. But are you telling me is pray? I've prayed. And for somebody that's a new believer, again, back to me, I was a new believer at that time. Don't even know what it is, what it means to pray or how to pray. But I was expected to pray, my being's true. And like I said, bless my sister. She's gone home to be with the Lord. I'm glad that I had her at that time by me. That she will do herself, still finding herself a way around too, but she was there, holding my hand. So what if she wasn't there at all? Because there were times I became suicidal. I just didn't know what else to do. And I have a 1 year or a year and a half old child that I have to take care of myself mentally, physically, spiritually, everything I was expected to do, and with the child at the same time. So I need more than that. Or people out there need more than that, than for the church to just say pray. Prayer is good. Don't get me wrong, I'm all up for prayer. But prayer has to be combined with something else. to bring about wholeness or to bring about healing. And sometimes it would take you talking about it, or going to see a therapist, or just having that calm and smooth atmosphere and welcoming atmosphere, and not the harsh one that it will start insulting you and telling you you are the fault, or you got anger issue, or you this, or you that, and you that. And even go as far, or maybe it's the background that is fighting. Yes, I get all of that. But we should have more. Like you said, people have died from not being able to talk to anybody concerning the pains and the hurt. You know, I remember one time I was driving, and the Lord just began to tell me, He said, if I just take my hands off you for a minute, you just want to go to bed and not get up again. That's how deep it was. And I was living in a pastor house. I'm living there, and I am at this point where it is only God's grace that's telling me, you know, if I have to wake you up, and nobody was saying that. There were moments I would go to bed, I don't want to get up again. I just don't want to get up. You know, but I'm glad that I had that experience, but it will not be for everybody. Not everybody will come through. Some people can take it because they're facing rejection. They're facing all kinds of stuff from the church. And so we need more than just pray.
Yeah. I mean, people are sending you love. Everything you're sharing here is very important. And I usually tell people that prayer is important. Right. And I'll never discredit that. Whatever works for you, do it. Right. It works for me, so I'll keep doing it, right? Prayer is important, but in the midst of prayer, God gives you instructions. Right? And it's through the Word of God.
Yeah, that's the point.
There was a time where my appendix almost ruptured. Here I am thinking that somebody has bewitched me somewhere in Africa. I don't know what I did to my ancestors. I don't know why they're following me and think they're monitoring my life. Literally, I was crying. I was like, Lord, you got to take this pain away. Like, I don't know what is going on. I felt like I was in labor, all those things. In the midst of that, I could hear that whisper that told me, go to the hospital. Right. Otherwise, you'll lose your life. And I had to run upstairs. I called my dad. I said, we have to go to the hospital. Lord knows I can't die now. Right. Like, we have to go to the hospital because something is wrong. The moment I got there, the doctor was like, if you were going to be any later than this, your appendix would have ruptured. Wow. Yeah. Your appendix would have. So not that prayer is not important. I was praying, Lord, give me. In the midst of that prayer, an instruction came. Right. You need to go to the hospital. You need to. Even my own pastor, he said, Emily, go to the hospital. Yeah. Like, stop praying. Praying is good, but go to the hospital. And I had to go to the hospital. And normally I tell people that just because you're a pastor doesn't mean you know how to counsel people. You should, because that's also part of your job, to be a shepherd, right? To shepherd God's people. But just because you're a pastor doesn't mean you're certified to be a counselor or a therapist, right? They need to have those in the church for people to go to be able to talk to. And if you're a pastor and I can't talk to my pastor about what I'm going through, then I don't want to be in that church, because I feel like when I'm in the church, like, that pastor should be a place, that pastor should be somebody I can share some stuff with, who will be able to direct me, right? Or give me direction and tell me, hey, this is what you're doing, like, but give you the decision to make, right? And a lot of people don't do that. There are some pastors in churches where they're very biased, right? You go to them, they're like, oh, this person pays the highest tithes, this person give the most. So you don't want to get yourself involved in people's marital affairs. Why are you a pastor? Why do people come to you? People come to church because they're looking for people to talk to. They're looking for comfort. That's one of the reasons why people are believers. They're looking for comfort. They find that in Jesus, right? And people don't see him physically, right? We haven't seen him, but we believe that there's somebody up there, right? Whether you believe it or not, that's on you. That's your personal thing. But there are people who believe that, and they go to him and they see the pastor as the head to be able to guide them to God. So imagine you going through all your stuff that you just talked about, the whole divorce thing, and your pastor looking at you like you're the problem. When there's a bigger problem at hand, when there's a bigger issue at hand, and it takes two people for things not to work out, right? And I tell people all the time that no one goes into a marriage after 20 years and say, you know what, I'm ready to walk out.
Right.
I don't think you went into your marriage thinking, you know what, maybe after 5-6 years I'm gonna be out. Like, this is it for me. It's too much. You didn't go into it thinking like that.
No, I did not. I was married, though I did not have much understanding of it, but I knew that I wanted to be married and not get divorced. I didn't do everything perfectly, right? No one is perfect. Everybody has their own flaws. There are things I didn't understand about marriage, and there are things he did not understand about marriage. And we went into it, but my idea was not to get divorced. Unfortunately, it happened. Why should I be shamed, right? Why should I be blamed? Why should I be put in a spot as if to say I'm a failure? And nobody is a failure just because a marriage did not work out.
Right.
No one is. But that's how we make people feel. That go through divorce. You're a big failure. Nothing good can come from out of you, and this and that. Even when you go into the next marriage, it's not going to work the same way because they added you carry in this and that. And it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much of the backlashes that comes at people with divorce. And like you said, nobody wants to be, whether you spend one day in your marriage or 20 years in your marriage, nobody wants to go, except you have different mind that, hey, I'm going, he got money, I'm just going there to go get the money and get divorced. That's a different thing. But if you are truly getting married because you want to get married, because you believe in it, yeah, that's not your intention to go in there and get divorced. And then in the process, while you're going through that, something happened to me. And this is something that I strongly advise that we don't do. Please don't do it. You just have that person either just end everything. You know, we had come from a meeting where we were going to talk about the marriage and what to do, and somebody really close to me, we're walking outside, and it came to me and told me, hey, you know, you can't afford to get divorced. You already have a child, one, and this will be the second one. And that was my undoing. You know, that thing hit me really hard. I took it really personal, and I'm like, yeah, the person so I became, to myself, I became worthless. You know, I would call myself names like, now you have 2 kids, 2 different fathers. Who's going to marry you? Like you said, who's going to look at you? Who's going to do this? You nobody. And so all of those self-condemnation was more than enough. I didn't need anybody else putting some on me. But then receiving some from the church, it just added a different level of hurt and pain and hatred and bitterness with that. So when anyone that is going through this needs to have a really good backing and support to be able to go through the process smoothly without any, there will still be hindrances, you know, along the way. But just knowing that you have that space and you have people that you can go to and talk to, I think helps the healing process to go on a little more smoother than if you don't.
Thank you for sharing that. Like I said, tonight and even the previous episode has been really, it's been sensitive. Yeah. Like the guests that have been coming on, they've been really vulnerable and transparent about what and this is real, right? This is reality. And it really saddens me that sometimes people take these things and they use it to get more followers and viewers, right? You discuss somebody's story, someone's pain that they're going through, and you think like this is a good thing, you know. And thank you for sharing that, because not a lot of people have that space to share, and community is so important when it comes to healing. Sometimes I don't even advise people to heal alone. I advise people to heal in a community, the right community, when it's healthy, because it's hard. It's hard. Divorce is hard. Look at you. People don't even have to condemn you, right? Like you just stated, you're condemning yourself. Like, I'm the worst. God hates me. God doesn't love me probably. Like, I've done the worst thing. I've made up my mind to do what I think is right and healthy for me and my baby girl. But then outside voices come in the midst.
Right.
Don't do it. What about your children? They said the same thing about my mom. I said the same thing. Like, people like, oh, she got 3 kids. Who's going to want to marry her? And all those people are checking out my dad. I'm telling you, the man is good looking. So everybody was checking him out at the same time. They probably came to the wedding hoping that he'll be like, sorry, May, your maid of honor is the person for me. And I was like, like, people are so, it's sad. It's really sad that people go through a lot and they can't have that space. And I tell people all the time, I'm going to read some of the comments before we read the letters. We have letters this evening. But if you don't know God for yourself in a way, you would hate being a Christian. Right. You wouldn't go to church. You wouldn't want to have anything to do with Christians. You wouldn't want to have anything to do with, pastors or anything like that. Because a lot of people have church hurt. Right? The church is supposed to be a safe space for you to share your pain and things like that, but it's just as bad as people in the world. Even worse. It's even worse than people in the world. And I tell people the church is a hospital. We're all sick, right? Just our level of sickness is different. Some people have a headache. Other people have stage 4 cancer. Right. And they just can't help themselves. Even pastors have their own illness and things that they're dealing with, if we're going to compare, when we use that comparison. But no one is perfect, right? No. And this topic is no different. Even there are pastors who are going through divorce. There are pastors who have been divorced, and they also don't have that community, because now you have members in the congregation that's telling you, if you can get a divorce, then I can get a you know what I'm saying?
Who are you to talk to me?
Who are you to talk to me?
You're not supposed to counsel me. You're not supposed to do this because you yourself have been through divorce. So it's crazy out there, to be honest, and it's hard. The church is supposed to be a safe haven for both unbelievers and believers. But unfortunately, it's not.
It's a war zone.
We're supposed to be distinctive. We're not supposed to be like the world. Yeah. But it's I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but it is. And we have to do better for ourselves and just for people. Yeah.
I completely agree, and it's people in the world that's coming in the church, right? Like you said, the church is just, don't mind the edifice, okay? Right. We are the church. Christ has called us the church. So it's, everybody comes with their hurt, they comes with their own wounds. Pastors are not. They all have their own issues. Nobody is a saint. No one is perfect. But there's a certain standards that leaders should be put in place, and leaders should be held accountable when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to caring for their members and people like that. Johnetta, this is an interesting topic. I want us to read some comments. Otherwise, we might stay here till 9 o'clock, and I don't think you can afford that. Okay, so Natasha Roberts, thank you so much for watching. She says, what type of prayers do I need to pray? And I think we can talk about that when we read the comments. George W. Wallace III says, prayers don't move mountains, the right actions do. Don't move mountains, the right actions do. Prayer, and Edwina, thank you for watching. Edwina was on the show. She was a guest. We talked about childhood trauma and the effect it has on relationships. She says, prayer and therapy goes together. Edwina also says, please encourage one to pray, but also let's open spaces for people within the church so that they can, within the church, the one that people can vent to and lean on as well. Prayer, yes, but let's add to that as well. Natasha says, let's have space and people in the church for people to be vulnerable. I agree. Natasha also said, you are brave, God alone child, which is your name on Facebook. Her name is actually Johnetta Farmah. Edwina says, it's time as churches, especially within our community, within our African community, to bring awareness to these things. People are drowning, trying to pull themselves out of divorce and give life another chance, but we also have to create safe and healthy spaces for them. Mr. Frank says, why are you a pastor? Mr. George Wallace III says, not all pastors are called, so that alone limits what they can offer. Besides, not all problems can be solved at the church. A pastor without wisdom is out for business. I agree. And then Mr. Frank says, I couldn't have said it better myself. Edwina says, do not allow society to make you feel less of anything because you're divorced. Mr. Nathaniel Garpu, shout out to you for watching. This one handsome man who's 61 years old, looking fine. It's my dad, by the way. Thank you for watching. He says, consider marriage as entering through the preschool door on the first day. Lots of unknown. LD says, I'm one of the school of thought that divorce is permissible when abuse and infidelity are involved. Edwina says divorce is okay. Starting over is okay. You're still worthy of love no matter what society says. Gabrielle, thank you for watching. Edwina says collaborative healing. I second this. Nathaniel Garpu says, however, there is room for improvement and growth if it is founded on faith in the union. Mr. Frank says a person going through a divorce have to forgive themselves first. Repentance is honorable and God will forgive you. And then afterwards, move on. You have to move on. Mr. Franks also says, self-righteous people forget that we all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Just move on. Forgive yourself. Just move on. Thank you so much. I mean, these comments are coming. Like I said, Johnetta, you are rocking it. Thank you for sharing your story. This is hard. Right, for people who are watching, like, good job, but I don't think we understand the amount of work it took within for you to even share your thoughts, so to share your heart with us. So thank you for watching. We're going to read the letters when we get back. I want us to take, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we get back, we'll read the letters. Thank you all for watching. Please share this show, share this video, because this is an important topic that we're not having a lot, especially within our churches. When we get back, we'll watch the video. Make sure you check us out on Keg Media. Keg Solutions offers website templates for as little as $350. $350 for a website template. You do not want to miss it. Make sure that you check out the link. It'll be posted for you to post. If you have a business, you want to create a website, please make sure you click on that link. Keg Solution is there, so like I said, click on the link. Keg Media for all your videography, if you want production, anything of that sort, photos, all of that. Make sure you follow Keg Media, message Keg Media. We got the hookups for you. Also, shout out to Benna Boutique, shout out to 4 Girls Fashion and Beauty for sponsoring Dear Emily. Always, thank you. We'll be right back. When we get back, we'll read the letters. Thank you. Okay, everyone, welcome back to Dear Emily Season 2, Episode 8. We're talking about divorce and the church, and we have an amazing guest, Divorce and the Church, a journey of healing and forgiveness. We have an amazing guest with us, Johnetta, Farmah, who has been sharing her story. She's been very transparent, very vulnerable. It takes a lot of courage to come on the show to talk about what you're going through, or what you have been through. So thank you so much, Johnetta, for being on here with us. I forgot to talk about Keg Mart. So before we go into the letter, let me talk about Keg Mart. If you are a business owner, you have products, Keg Mart is where you want to upload your products, okay? It's a multi-vendor site that you can go on. It's like Etsy, Amazon, Temu, Shein. There's some other places where you can go on to shop. Keg Mart is no different from that, okay? That is the newest multi-vendor site that's going to be launched. Be the first. Contact us on Keg Media. The link will be posted if you want more information. For those of you that have your clothing, I'm going to be reaching out to Bender Boutique, For Girls Fashion and Beauty. Those of you want to be able to upload your products, everything that you have on there, so that people who can go on, they can purchase. Okay, it's one stop. What do they say? Is it one shop, stop, right? It's a one-stop shop. So you don't want to miss it. More information will be provided, but I encourage everyone out there that's doing business, okay? You have your products online, any of those things, reach out to Keg Mart, reach out to Keg Media, and we will hook you up, okay, to be able to upload your products, do inventories, all those things. So make sure that you don't miss that, because this is exciting. Now I want to get into products and things like that, so I can start uploading my things on Keg Mart. It might just be my face, who knows, right? So you could purchase and just put it in your house. Kidding, but yes, you do want to upload your stuff on Keg Mart. Thank you all, and we're going to get back to our episode. Johnetta, I want us to read the letter, but before we do that, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Doing good?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're less tense, and it makes you less pink, because we're kind of like the same skin tone. So
I'm less tense right now.
Okay, perfect.
I'm good.
I'm loving it. But this has been an important topic. It's been an important discussion, conversation, and thank you. I can't thank you enough for sharing your story on this platform. It means a lot to the Keg Media team. It means a lot to Dear Emily. So thank you so much.
Thank God.
Okay, you ready for the letters?
Yes, I am.
Okay, viewers, we're about to read the letters. For some of you, you're always analyzing, you're commenting. We love it. So make sure you keep your comments coming when we read the letters. So, Johnetta, I'm going to read the first letter, okay? And then you're going to share your thoughts. Dear Emily, let's go to the first letter. Dear Emily, I've been abused by my husband for a very long time, emotionally, verbally, and even physically. He is a committed member of his church, and every time I report him to our pastor, he ignores my plea to get my husband help. We have 2 beautiful children together. I don't want my children thinking that love hurts. I don't want them to see what their father do is as normal. I am tired, want to leave. If I don't leave, this man might end up killing me someday. But people keep telling me to hold on and be strong and to pray for him, that God will change him. It's been 10 years, Emily, and he hasn't changed. And am I praying the wrong prayers? Is God angry with me that he's not listening? I have tried to be a good wife, tried to obey scriptures in my marriage, but I'm tired and can't do it anymore. What do you suggest I do, Emily? Sweet Mother of Jesus Christ. That is a loaded letter, story, and whoever wrote that, thank you for sharing, because that might have taken a lot, and I'm glad this is anonymous.
Right.
I'm glad this is anonymous. So if you're watching, thank you for sharing, and we hope to offer some thoughts to you that might be helpful. So post it in a comment. What are your thoughts on the letters? what should she do? What should she do? She asked Emily. Now I'm asking all of you and our guests to chime in. What should this woman do? Johnetta, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, like you said, that letter is a heavy one. There are a few things in there I'd like to address for her or point out to her. First is that the abuse, emotionally, verbally, and now is physical, right? Those three combined, that is not a good environment, first and foremost. For her as a person, for her kids. So that should give her enough courage, which this is the first step that she's taken, right? By writing to the show to get some help. And then the next thing is that she says that she's been reaching out to her pastor to get help for the husband and not for her, not for the kids. And that's the thing. Many times for us women, we forget about ourselves and try to want to help another person first. So you are reaching out for help for your husband, granted. What about you? What about the kids? What are you doing for them? And I'm not in no way blaming her. She's not to be blamed at all. But I think it's about time women, we come to our senses wherever they have taken it. It needs to be brought back. And for us to find some courage, for us to stand up for our most prized possession, which are our kids. And then she goes down to say, if I don't leave, this man might kill me, and it's been 10 years. Something has to be done. Now you're going to your pastor. I would say seek outside help, and this is the first step. But go above that. Because like our viewer said, the pastor don't have all of the answers. They themselves looking for answer for a lot of things they are going through sometimes. And sometimes it's difficult for you to see people for who they are when they're right next to you, when they're too close to you. So this man being a committed member of the church, probably the pastor, right-hand man or something, makes it even more impossible for him to see what she's saying. That this man is abusive or this man is doing things. He doesn't want to believe that, that this is happening. But I'll go ahead and address, I want her to know that she's not praying the wrong prayer. God is not angry with her. God can never be angry with us. Even if he is, he will not be punishing you by keeping you in there for them to beat you to death or abuse you and destroy you. So God is not angry with you. Whoever you are, God is not angry with you. God loves you very, very much. But now, this thing is in your hand. Like I said, we can pray. But until the spiritual and the physical collide, there can never be a result. Pray the prayer you want to pray. God expects you to act physically on those things that you are praying for. So it's like when we talk about faith, we say faith is the substance of things hoped for and this and that, but faith also needs action. Faith doesn't work just by you having it. It works by you activating it, like acting upon it. And like I said, we said pray, pray, pray. But God, in the man that they are referring us to, pray, want us to do something as well. He doesn't want us to sit down and fold our hands. He's not coming down from heaven to take you out of there. He will give you instructions, like you said earlier, he'll give you instructions. What are you doing with those instructions? You've seen everything in this marriage. I'm not encouraging you. I'm not saying go get divorced or go do anything that you're not willing to do. But for the fact that it's been 10 years, God cannot change someone that don't want to be changed. The pastor himself cannot change someone that don't want to be changed or help someone that don't want to be helped. So it's obvious that this man doesn't want to be helped, or he probably can't change. There's no one that can be changed, right? But this is enough reason for her to start to think twice. I'm not saying get divorced. What I'm saying is that you have to put on that mind of yours to make a decision that I'm going to take my children out of this, not divorce, but find somewhere for the sake of the children. Because what we don't realize is this is having, more than her, is having a huge impact on the children. Because these children will grow up, and that is one of her concerns, that she don't want the kids growing up to see that love hurts. But you're still keeping them in there.
Yeah.
They will believe that it's an okay thing for their mom to be going through that. So seek outside help. And you're not praying the wrong prayer. Just maybe pray for direction or instruction. But I think there's just enough signs and information that she has that can empower her to take the next step to protecting her and the children first and foremost when it comes to that.
Yeah. I completely agree, and I think one of the things that really stood out to me in this letter is when she said, if I don't leave, this man might kill me someday. So you're in constant fear. It's been 10 years that you've been with this person. Now maybe things started out good, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. But maybe things started out good. He wasn't this person that you thought he was, and all those things, and now all of a sudden the person comes out, or another side you're seeing, because a lot of us we keep hoping for somebody to change. And this is what I tell people: you're not the Holy Spirit. Don't play the role of Jesus. And a lot of times we Christians, especially women, because we've been compared to as the helper, right? The Holy Spirit is our helper. God literally compared women to helper. We're called to be a helper to our husband and things like that. So for women, we feel like, for some of them, feel like you have to be there to help this person to change. I can't pray for nobody for 10 years. I'm sorry. Like, this is it. Like, you hitting me, you smacking me, 10 years of prayer, please. I can't.
10 years of prayer.
I can't pray for 10. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm like? I'm not going to pray for 10 years. And Johnetta, I say this all the time. Kids learn by what they see. More than what you say. And I don't think people understand. I don't even think parents really understand the extent of that. Like, kids are really learning by what you're doing, and not just what you're saying, right? People say action speaks louder than words. Put a kid in that position, that's them. They want to see actions, not just your words. So they already know that this marriage is unhealthy, and I don't want to assume their ages. God forbid they're 10 or 9 or 8. They're getting to that stage to really formulate their thoughts. Who knows the conversation is going on in the home, you know? And to that pastor, I don't know what the issue is. Maybe this is the highest paying member in your church. I don't know what he's doing, you know, but somebody is telling you that they're being abused verbally, emotionally, mentally, physically, and maybe you're waiting for a voice from God to tell her to leave, you know. And listen, you might not tell her to leave, right? But I'm telling her, leave, like, run as fast as you can, because no one is telling you to get a divorce, because that's a decision maybe you have to pray another 10 years for God to change. I don't know, like, I just wouldn't pray for God to change him, but leave for the sake of your children, for your safety. If you die now, I tell people that man is going to remarry.
Faster than you can believe.
He'll probably mourn you for a month or two. And say,
a month is too long.
A month is too long. And move on with his life. And now you have your kids motherless. They don't have a mom. They're being raised by stepmom and all this. There's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be at the cause of my mom died due to abuse, because my father abused her. And it might not even be physical, right? Emotional death is happening every day. Every day. Mental death is happening every day. I've met countless of people, men and women, even pastors, who have opened up to me about their lives, that there are days where they wish they were dead because of what's going on in their marriage, because of what's going on in their home. And no one is sounding that alarm. No one is sounding that alarm that we have a major epidemic in the church, and that is relationship failure. When it comes to relationship failure for people to teach, I wonder what message is being taught in this church. Go to a different church. Let's just say that. Like, start finding a different church. Maybe your pastor going through his own thing and things like that. But that's not justifiable to tell anybody to stay in a marriage for 10 years. This lady now feels like God is not hearing her prayers. She's praying wrong. And she literally said, I've tried to be a good wife. Even a saint who is trying to do everything possible, you can push them to the edge. You can push them to the edge that this lady might just snap one day and do something, and guess who's going to be at fault? Oh, she should have left. The same people that's telling you not to leave, if you end up doing something to that person, they will tell you you should have left. Oh, we told you to leave, but you didn't leave. See how humans are hypocritical at its finest? This is why you don't listen to man, right? Listen to what God is telling. And I always tell people, God has your best interest at heart. Men will always be men. Men are entitled to judge. The mouth was created for two purposes, to run and to eat. So you're either running your mouth like we are now, or you're eating something. So people are entitled to their opinions. Allow them to be. But you live a life for the sake of your kids that is healthy for you, because you're killing yourself and you're killing these babies without even knowing that you are. Right? I want to read some comments before we go to now letter 2. If people are fuming over letter 1, relax. We have letter 2 coming up. But let me read some of the comments, okay? Okay. T. Ladiva said, leave and pray for him in distance. Please leave and pray for that man in distance. If you still love him, you still want your marriage, we believe that there's nothing God can do, right? So leave and pray for him in distance. Joel says, thanks for all you're doing, Emily. Matter of fact, you're looking so adorable. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. Thank you for that comment. Mr. Frank says, this is Rhonda Frank, so his wife is speaking now. So it's simple, leave. You have been there too long already. Pray and thank God that you didn't die during this horrible time. Yeah. Natasha Roberts said, moving on is the hardest. However, being open to moving on helps one to navigate through divorce. LD says, get out like yesterday. Don't listen to any pastor telling you to pray and hang on. Natasha says, leave him be. Run, don't walk. Think about yourself and your children. Edwina says, this pastor does not like this woman. It's a shame. 10 years and nothing has changed. We are gonna keep telling people to pray till they're 6 feet. Please tell this lady to leave for yourself and your kids. The dead don't pray, so let's just always keep that in mind. People who are dead are not praying. Jeanette Asamoah, thank you for watching. She says faith is active. Edwina says, please stop encouraging people to suffer. Please stop encouraging people to suffer. Tila Diva says, kids are very smart. You can never help someone when you're hurt as well. I'm not sure how your kids act, but emotionally it has effect on the kids. A happy mother, happy and healthy kids. Get divorced, Ma. Edwina said, get divorced, Ma. 10 years is not going to change. Pastors need to not be enablers of these men. Most pastors don't have the spirit of wisdom nor the spirit of revelation. Go above and beyond the church. People, go outside and seek help. Look into therapy or family members. Children see all of those things that's happening in the home. Natasha says, don't suffer in silence. Leave him. Jenna says, there is no badge for marriage in heaven. Be in a healthy one. If it's not healthy and safe, there's no obligation to be in it. 10 years in abuse is bondage. Natasha says that. Edwina said the mind versus reality. The reality is this man is evil. The mind is being trained to pray to ease those pains away. No. Tell this lady to leave. I'm trying, Edwina, I'm trying. Edwina said I should tell this lady to leave. I think we're telling her to leave for the safety of her kids. Natasha says 10 years of abuse is bondage. Okay. Tila Diva says I can't pray for 1 month. Boy, bye. No one is ready for
Nobody is willing to pray.
Edwina says, fine girl like me, 10 years praying for animal behavior, I beg.
Oh, Lord.
She said, I'm reading the comments. And then Janet says, I think the pastor is advising wrongly because they interpret marriage as heavenly mandate that divorce is a sin. Not true at all. Marriage is partnership to do life with, not die for. The only sin is rejecting Jesus. That is it. Gabrielle says, our failure to speak truth to power and tell people the cost of staying can cause people to give up on prayer or on God. Faith without works is dead. God loves you, and you must love you the more to choose life and not death. Right. Natasha says, leave him. Natasha says she needs to leave him. The comments are hot. They're rolling. Please keep it coming. I want us to read letter 2. Otherwise, we might stay here all day. Right. I know the executive producer say, Emily, keep it coming, keep it coming. But let's keep going. So let's read letter 2, and then we'll wrap up, okay? Who knows? We might have a part 2 for this, but this is a long... this is a hot topic. Okay, so let's read letter number 2. Dear Emily, my wife is cheating on me and abusing me verbally. Dear Emily, my wife is cheating on me and abusing me verbally. Daily, only on Sundays, she refrains from calling me all sorts of names as she's part of the choir and the prayer team and helps out the usher department. I'm sorry. Back to the letters, everyone. This woman is seen as a saint. I'm sorry, everyone. This woman is seen as a saint. She advises people on their marriage, but can barely keep her own. People look up to her for guidance. Only in the church she gives me respect. And in the home, it's non-stop insults. Okay.
Lord.
Her pastor is like her God. She once told me she wished she married someone like her pastor who knows the word of God and it's useful. Please go back to the, okay. And is useful to her. She married someone like her pastor who knows the word of God and is useful in society. When the pastor or church member comes over, it is the only time she calls me honey, daddy, sweetheart, and all that. I'm tired of this marriage. I want out. I regret marrying her every day. She fooled me. I thought she was a godly. I missed that last part. Okay. She fooled me. I thought she was a godly. Let's put that letter back. Okay, I thought she was a godly person, not knowing I married the devil firstborn.
Oh boy.
She's very deceptive and highly manipulative. I'm done, Emily. My wife won't change except Jesus comes.
Oh Lord.
Let her marry someone else and see she's already cheating. And since she's already cheating, the disrespect is too much. I'm just letting you know I'm done, Emily. I hope others can learn from my mistake. Don't rush to marry, especially a Christian woman. Okay, Johnetta, there is so much in this letter to unpack. It's not even funny, but yet it's funny because we hear this all the time. I hear this all the time. So what's your take on this? And please keep the comments coming, okay? I'm going to read. Johnetta, what are your thoughts?
You know, sometimes we believe men don't go through abuse, but this is a typical one that men do go through marital abuse as well. Number one, in no way, shape, and form, you should be worshiping your pastor. The Bible says it clearly, your husband is the head, and you are under him. So like Apostle Solomon said, if you can't give your husband the plate, your china plate you've been keeping in the thing, don't give it to your pastor.
Yeah.
And that's where you know, a lot of I feel for him, because a lot of people will not even take him seriously when he's sincerely verbalizing his abuse. He's going through abuse in the hands of the woman, and maybe it's just about daughter. I don't know, but not all women, not all Christian women are the same. I want him to know that not all Christian women are the same. There are some decent ones. We're still decent, though you may have married daughter. Oh no, but on the serious note, I'm so sorry. But it's a serious thing, and we tend to do that, especially in the African churches. We'll call our spiritual father daddy, which is there's nothing wrong with it. But I must first call my husband daddy, right? Give my husband the respect and the honor that is due to him. Because the thing about marriage is that what we don't get when it comes to our spiritual head, once I am married, my husband becomes my spiritual head. Yeah, we have our spiritual father, but now my government has changed, right? So my husband is in place. So what is she doing? Giving all the respect to the pastor, and then can't call him here, honey, until the pastor is there. That is wrong. And those are some of the common ones that men go through, just the wife not giving them any form of respect. I don't know how long they've been together. The other person stated they were together 10 years, but he said he's just had it, he's done. But if we're going by biblical principle, divorce, infidelity is a ground for divorce, right? So he can choose to do that. But I think where things needs to be rectified is the pastor stepping in and letting this woman know, hey, I'm not your husband. You have your own husband. According to biblical principle, you're supposed to submit to your husband and not to me. And once if the pastor is not addressing that, he's giving her leeway to disrespect her, her own. And he needs to come up and point that out to her and be like, if your husband can't eat in the plate, don't give me your plate to eat. Are they even checking up on, and this is the thing, I'm sorry, I know the pastors are human beings, and they are absolutely, they have flaws and stuff like that, but there should be some level of guidance. If you are in control, if you're going to give account to God concerning me, then I think you should do that and do that properly. You see, I'm sure this man has complained to the pastor, and he's not doing anything. Or if he hasn't, then I advise him now to go and let the pastor know and be a man. Go tell the pastor, hey, this is my wife, not yours. I need you to back off a little bit. This is not right. I don't like what is going on. He needs to go and tell the pastor that I don't like what is going on. And if this doesn't stop, I'm going to have to take it further. Because I don't think the pastor will want his wife doing that for other men and not respecting him. So he needs to do something with that. But brother man sound like he's not even asking for advice. He's telling you that he's done. But I think it's wrong for us women to do that especially us that are in the faith. Now he looks at every Christian woman to be some kind of Jezebel daughter, but no, that's not the case. But I think he needs to take the first step by going to his pastor, letting him know this is enough. My wife is doing this, this, and this. If he has done that and there is no improvement, okay, then yeah, he can go and do, what it is him that wearing his shoe. He knows where it pinches.
Mm-hmm. Well, everything you said is right, and I think he already made his decision. So he's just telling me he wrote the letter to tell me, Emily, I hope people learn from my mistakes.
But
they shouldn't marry anybody, especially Christian women. And it's true, Johnetta. With all seriousness, we see women most often than men being abused in marriages. And I can almost tell people, I can guarantee, if men were to speak out about the amount of times that they're being abused, it's probably, if not the same as women, it's equal, right? But nobody wants a man to be complaining, whining, and they'll tell you to man up. Your wife is, she's abusing you verbally. Man up. Right. Some people will tell you, abuse her back, or do something to her and slap her. If she's slapping you, how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Like, people say that. So men are dying in silence, and we don't talk about it. That's why I like to balance out these letters as they're coming in. It's not just from one gender, from both genders, so people can see that these are realities. Men are struggling just as much as women, and you said it right. No one knows how long he's been in this marriage. Or how long he was in this marriage, because obviously he's leaving. So Emily is just here to let the public know that this man has left. But it's the hypocrisy of this letter that blows my mind. Right. You're only on Sundays you respect your husband. So Monday through Saturday, you're disrespecting him.
Oh boy.
You're calling him names. Yeah. But you're in the choir. You're the prayer warrior, and those are the people who pray the loudest. Yes. In church, you're the prayer warrior, you're the usher. You can usher people in the church, but you can't usher your husband in the home. You ushering in, you probably singing the loudest note. When the pastor is saying something, you're the one, yes, pastor, like you clapping and doing all those things. But yet you're the most disrespectful person in the home. Right. When the book of Ephesians, chapter 4 itself, it talks about women submit to your own husband. Yeah. That pastor is married. His wife is supposed to submit to him. Submit to your, so as Christ, as you would unto Christ. So you're disobeying the word, but you think you're obeying it by playing roles in the church. And I tell people, like, most of the time we do eye service. Yeah. It's eye service. Everybody wants attention. You want your pastor to see you. And why is that even important? If God doesn't see you, and there are lots of people who are placed in position in the church that God doesn't see, that they're not even there. Why? Because he sees the heart. He sees how this woman is treating her husband in the home, but yet and still on Sundays, you call him sweetheart, you call him daddy, you call him honey, but during the week he's a dog, probably. He's this and that, he's X, Y. What if you have kids and you have girls? What if you have daughters? Now they're going to, because abuse is a learned behavior. Nobody was born abusive. So now your daughter's gonna say, okay, well, mom is calling dad useless, so guess what? My man is useless. My man is useless. And so look at the pattern. And you counsel other women in the church about marriage. How dare you? Right. Now I'm getting hot. Let me fix myself a little bit. Sorry. Now you're counseling. You're counseling other women in the church about their marriage. When it's like you're drowning, but you're telling other people not to drown. You're giving them advice, but you can't keep your own. And if I was that husband, I will go up to all those women you've counseled, and I will tell them that this person is not living up to what they're doing in the home. She's telling you to respect your husband, to not disrespect him and all those things, but she dishonors me every single day. No, that there has to be a place where people can really be upfront and really just confront these things. Because this is unacceptable. right? It's unacceptable behavior, because now you have this man thinking that every woman who enters the church door, they're Satan firstborn.
Right.
Like we all have the same behavior. We, like we will never change.
Right.
And all you have ruined it.
Yes.
For so many people, for a woman who deserved the love that man, that could cater to him. No marriage is perfect, like we've been saying here, but there should be a certain extent of where it's healthy, especially if you consider yourself a Christian.
Right.
How can you be praying to God every day and you disrespecting your husband? God is not hearing that prayer. No, because your home is at stake. And a lot of people make the mistake that they can dishonor their husband and go to God. No, God is the God of principle. He said, honor your own husband. Submit unto your husband as you would unto the Lord. Why didn't he say submit unto the Lord? As you would unto your husband. He says submit to your own husband. So guess what? If your husband is telling you, hey, babe, don't go to church today, submit unto that man. That's why I tell people, if depending on who you get married to, if you marry a dog, make sure that you submit to that dog. Okay, whoever you get married to, you submit, because God is not going to change scripture because of you. And a lot of Christian women, they miss that. Oh, I'm only going to go to church. I only honor God. God is the only one I'm supposed to explain to. No, then don't get married. Be single and marry Christ. And you have the option to do that. But now you live in a hypocritical life, and now people are thinking that you have the perfect marriage, and your husband has been suffering and dying in silence, because I'm even expecting the pastor to come visit unannounced sometimes. Just come unannounced.
That's why.
Or talk to the man.
Yeah, that's why I said earlier. And these are all of the ways that the church we are letting people down. We are letting each other down, because you as a pastor, I'm pretty sure that this man has said something before. You can't be going through this and just keep quiet. Then I would say maybe there's something wrong with him, and somewhere down the line it's his fault. But I'm pretty sure he has spoken something about it. And just you as a person, man, can you not pick that up? Nobody around you saying anything to you about these people? Or like you said, because he's a man, so he can't even go and complain to the pastor, say, I'm going through this. So there's really not enough room in the church for both men and women. At least a woman can, like you said, can go to her girlfriend and say, hey, I'm going to, but for a guy, this thing has to be really secure for you to see a man coming to cry or to say, I'm going through this and I'm going through that, because they're expected to wear some armor, the full armor of God, and be passing around. But it's not that. We really have to do better with that.
I mean, listen, the comments are blowing up. So I want to read some of the comments, because that tells you how important this conversation is and how much is needed. Okay, George W. Wallace says, no be juju be daddy. from the letter. So Natasha says, leave her. She's living an eye service life in the church. She's a witch. Tila Diva says, that's a witch in broad daylight. There's nothing godly about her. She's living a fake life. Edwina says, La Jezebel daughter. God sees everything that she is doing. Then Mr. Frank's wife says, forget his memory, forget his name, leave him on the other side of the door. Bye. Tila Diva says, at least he knows what to do. Edwina says, brother, you did well by leaving her witch self. Okay. Tila Diva, Gabrielle responded and says, right, at least she has an action plan. Edwina says she's finished spoiling it for her friends them. She spoiled it.
Oh, Lord.
Jenna says submission to your husband is priority over a pastor, period. I agree. Edwina responded to Janet and says she ate her school fees. Edwina says, if we trace this woman background, she's seen it before growing up. That's why she's doing such.
Right.
Leave King, you deserve better. She haven't read that part in the Bible. Jenna says, I think some of these pastors that demand and tolerate such idol worship from women is evil. He needs to tell her to go home.
Right.
Leave her. God have better for you. Witches don't read.
Oh.
The husband needs to speak to the pastor about his wife's behavior. And then Gabrielle says, this also speaks volume to our vetting process before marriage. How well do we take the time to get to know one another? How well do we discuss our stance on respect? How we will or won't speak to one another? Word to the wise, one can only hide who they truly are for so long. And once true self is revealed and you don't agree or aren't in alignment, then you must leave. The choir director needs to hear about this. She probably wants her pastor and don't underestimate her desire for his behavior. I ain't calling no man pastor daddy. Whatever. All the positions she's in is hindering people growth. Remove her. He needs a testimony time and share the prayer request he's praying for his wife's behavior. Yeah, he made his decision. He has planned his exodus. Okay. Spiritual growth. Jezebel left her in charge. See soon morning wish. Okay. Natasha says she's performing in the church and on the Pope. God is not there.
Boy.
Joelle says she and her pastor, or whatever she calls him, are up to something different. The fact that she's wanting a person like him. And that's on period. She probably got something going on with her pastor daddy. That's why she disrespects her husband. She counsels people on what she needs to do in her home. Her pastor is not her husband. Tila Diva says she's fake. And then Joelle says, the woman that I'm talking to right now, I believe and trust that her pastor would not allow her to take on such steps in doing some comparison between him and myself. Okay. All right. The comments are coming. They're rolling. They're flowing. I mean, she's a certified witchcraft. She's a walking
got a
PhD.
PhD.
She's a demon. She's possessed. And all this. I mean, we could literally stay here all day. And I don't want us to do that, Johnetta, because I know you have to go. And we've had a really great time. I think everybody on here can agree. Oh, Grandma's White Chicken is on. I have to shout out to you, Grandma's White Chicken. She says the bottom line is a lot of us are broken and are not taking responsibility nor time to heal. These conversations are helpful, but we have a lot of work to do to transform our community. Churches need to create avenues for transformation because we go there with faith that we are to be redeemed, and we're not wrong for doing so. I completely agree. These conversations are so much needed and so helpful. Like, we just laughed about everything that's going on in this man's life, right? And the story behind it, because we hear it all the time. I mean, I hear it all the time, right? And I know you do as well. But this is reality. I can't imagine the people that are watching silently in the background, even the men that are saying, oh, I wish I could come on live to share my story and to do this and that. And maybe we'll have room for that in season 3 for people, if they want to showcase themselves, to be able to do that, to share their story, so people can put a face if they're strong enough to be able to do that. But this is an important conversation, Johnetta, and because you came on today, you sparked this conversation. You sparked the interest of the people. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength to come on here. And I want to thank you for that. I want us to take a break, our last break. And then when we get back, we'll close up for this evening. Keep the comment coming, please. Keep it rolling. We'll read the comments one last time before we close out for tonight. Thank you all so much for always watching. For those of you that are sponsoring, that are supporting Dear Emily, that thinks these conversations are helpful, please make sure you're sharing. Share Keg Media platform as well. Shout out to Keg Media. Without this studio, honestly, and God being the focus, we wouldn't have a Dear Emily with such a wonderful production. So I want to give a shout out to Keg Media, the team. They're not just a team, they're family to me. So shout out to Keg Media. Shout out to the producer, George W. Wallace III, the founder of Keg Media, of Kegmart, everything. So please make sure that you all are following this page. Stay up to date with everything that is in store, from Keg Solutions to Kegmart, to everything else that Keg Media will be doing, movie premieres, all those activities. You do not want to miss it. Every time you get a chance to give a shout out to Keg Media team, please make sure you do so, because without this team, there probably will not be Dear Emily Productions such as good as this one to be able to be in this studio. So shout out to the team. When we get back, we'll leave our closing statement. I'll tell you how you can sponsor and support Dear Emily and Keg Media. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Dear Emily Season 2, Episode 8. We've been having a conversation on divorce and the church, the journey of healing and forgiveness. And you all that are watching will agree with me that we've had a wonderful time. We've had a very interesting conversation. We have our guest who has been vulnerable enough and strong enough to share her story. It takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of courage to be able to share what she has been sharing. And to those of the people who write letters to Dear Emily every time, I have about maybe 250 plus letters left. Thank you. Thank you for writing those letters. Thank you for sharing your story. I've always said this, that the fact that people have to write anonymous letters, it means they don't have that much support system in their lives, in their circle. I am so glad and so privileged that Dear Emily is seen as a platform for those of you to share your stories, to share your heart with me, with us, the people that are watching. So I can't tell you thank you enough. Because of you, there's Dear Emily, right? Because of you, there's Dear Emily. So thank you to those of you that's always watching, that's always supporting, that's always sending me messages, suggesting guests and topics and all those things. I feel like season 3 topic is already filled up for season 3 because there's so much and there's so many people who are lined up for season 3. They just can't wait. And we're not even done with season 2 yet, so don't worry. We're not done with season 2 yet, but I want to thank you once more for always supporting, for always watching. You can support Dear Emily by sending stars, by clicking on the link below to be a sponsor. You can just donate, or you can sponsor a wardrobe. You can bring your products on Dear Emily. We can advertise it. So just click on the link to sponsor the show. It would be a great blessing, a great help, or send us stars in whatever way. And the best way you can promote Dear Emily is to promote Keg Media. Okay, share the Keg Media page. Encourage your friends, your family to like this page, to support, to click on the links on the websites, to follow us. Okay, that's one of the things, one of the ways that you can give to Dear Emily, because Keg Media is offering us a platform, which means a whole lot. So I want to thank you all once more. Johnetta, we're going to close out for tonight, and I want you to give us your last thoughts and maybe advice to the people that are watching on this topic of divorce and the journey of healing and forgiveness. And I do want some tea. I want to know if you're open to moving on and if you're open to the dating world. I mean, I'm sure there are people out there checking you out on this live, you know what I'm saying, that might reach out to you afterwards. So tell us, Johnetta, are you available? Are you taking? Are you open to dating again? Let us know.
I'm not ready yet, so
okay.
Yeah, no, that chapter is way back. But I just want to let everyone know, those that have gone through divorce, it's not your fault. Even if it was, you are not condemned, especially now. And if you're going through struggles, yes, pray, but please seek help so you don't die. Pray. And to us, the church, let us make room, please, for people that can come. Whether the person is a criminal, the person is this and that, there should be room for people to come and be able to cry and say what they need to say so they can be able to hear. But most importantly, rely on God heavily for the healing process, for the forgiveness process, because it is Him that will bring the healing while you do your part, but He's the healer. And in due time, you will get back to that place. It might take you a few years, but I can tell you tentatively that God can heal you to the point where you will laugh about the things that you've been through, and it will be a testimony to other people. So don't give up. Yes, keep praying. Please do that. But please find help if need be. If you need to step out, step out. Go on separation. Do what you need to do. But don't sit there and die in silence, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember you in the church. Whether you are the pastor or not the pastor, no one will remember you. But like God promised us in 1 Peter 5:10, He said, the God of all grace, that after we have suffered for a while, He will strengthen us and He will establish us. And I pray for whoever that's going through that God will see you through. Keep trusting in Him, but keep doing your part as well as He leads you and directs you in what to do to get you to that fullness of healing and just, to yourself.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being on tonight, this evening, depending on where you're watching. This is a very interesting and important topic that we often dismiss in our community, in our world, and in the church. And one person I'm a support for even having ministries like this in the church, that it shouldn't just be a show on Monday, because there are people who are dying every day. Right, there are people who are struggling every day. It shouldn't just be and I second what Grandma's white chicken, what she said. Like, this is a great platform, but it shouldn't stop here. There needs to be awareness, because there are people who honestly look forward to Dear Emily on Monday just to know the topic, and I appreciate that. But the goal is for people to be having these conversations in the church, to be having these conversations in their home. It speaks a lot of the growth that is taking place, you know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful that you're on here, and I echo what you said also. Get help. Yes, you can pray, hold on to your faith, but get help, because guess what? If you don't get help in the midst of everything, you will blame God. You will end up blaming God and say, Lord, but you sent me to this church, and God is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they say, oh, you sent me to this church, you told me to be here, you told me to obey, you told me to respect, and this and that, and here I am. No, God is a God of principles. God is not the author of confusion. God is going to love you regardless. Like you have said, He loves every single one of us, right? Doesn't love what we do all the time, but He loves us regardless. So get the help that you need. Seek professional help. I'm an advocate for professional help. If your pastor is not listening to you, please, that's not your only source of hope. Go see a certified therapist, a licensed therapist, a licensed counselor, or a certified coach. I'm a coach myself. If you're comfortable, reach out to me. I will refer you to other people if I can't handle the situation. I don't specialize in divorce, right? I don't specialize in divorce. but I know people who do. So you reach out to me and I will refer you to other people. So please make sure that you're utilizing the help and you're getting the help that you need. I want us to read the last comment, then we'll call it a day for today. Janet says, true, we assume faith replaces our responsibility to be human. Tila Diva says, yes, Emily. Janet, hashtag CAG Media. Thank you so much for supporting. And she says, King George W. Wallace III, the king all the animals bow to and shed their prints for. Mad respect to King George W. Wallace III. And then Natasha Roberts says, spiritual weakness in high places. Tila Diva said, great show today, beautiful. Jenna says, great Emily, higher and growing every week. And then Natasha says, awesome show and topic. Thank you all so much for watching. Honestly, the guest for today was Johnetta. Please give it up for her. Please send her a DM. Tell her how great she did, how well the show was, because honestly, it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage to be on here. I don't know if I ask her to come on next time, if she's going to say yes, but I'm hoping she does, and maybe we'll be talking about dating and her new boo that's in her life. We'll figure that out, right?
That's season 20 coming up.
That's season 20. We can't go that far.
Oh, well, I'm just telling you that season 20 coming up.
So for season 20 or season 3, you never know, we'll keep you hope alive. But Johnetta, thank you so much for being on. And she brought her daughter to the studio. Thank you so much, Bella, for being your mom's biggest fan. Eric, shout out to you all the way in Liberia. We're shouting out to your mom is on. You should be proud. You did an amazing job, and thank you so much. I want to thank you all once more for watching. Dear Emily fans, follower, CAG Media fans and followers, thank you so much for watching, for always supporting. It's because of you we come here every Monday. I was telling someone I almost canceled today's show because I was sick out of my mind over the weekend, but I'm so glad and grateful to be up, and I bounced back by the grace of God. I'm here and healthy. And I want to thank you all once more for watching. My parents who are a strong support, thank you for always watching. I know my mom is somewhere just nodding and saying, And one day, don't worry you all, she'll come on the show so she'll probably pray for y'all and let you share her wisdom and things like that, which I look forward to. And my father will also come on to share their thoughts on Dear Emily, so you can see the people that raised me. They raised me well. They really tried. I was trouble, I'll tell you the truth. But I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I won't see you next time. Wait, let me give you the episode for next week. Next week we'll be talking about navigating dating as a special need person. Which is a very interesting topic. Right. People with disability, people with special needs. How do we navigate dating? How do we treat them in our society? You don't want to miss it. We have an amazing guest who is always booked. So to even get a hold of her, I was like, okay, yes. And she said, yes, Emily, I'll come on. And it's been 2 months. 2 months I've been communicating with her, and she finally said she will be on the show. So she will join us next week. We're talking about navigating love, navigating dating, love as a special needs person. So you don't want to miss it. Tune in. We're going to have a wonderful time. Okay, that's all for tonight, this evening. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time on screen. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Thank you.